Hello there, everybody. Just a Cup Tuesday version, world's greatest team. Hey, welcome. We have Devon Allen. He's going to be jumping on here any moment. Devon, former NCAA champ, two-time USA champ, Olympian, World Championships, football player, University of Oregon. Man, I mean, Devon has kind of done it all, and we are going to be jumping on here. Excited to have him on and get to hear a little bit from him. So welcome on Tuesday. Devon.
Yo, what up?
How are you, sir?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Awesome. Where are you at these days?
I'm in Annapolis, Maryland.
Annapolis, Maryland.
Yeah.
That is definitely not a common place for most people. If somebody doesn't know about it, that's where the Naval Academy is.
Yeah, Coach Cooks told me to tell you. He said, "Hey,
Coach Cook's a good man. Definitely a good man." Well, thanks for joining us on this day. What's the weather like in Annapolis?
It's nice right now. It's like 60s. Yeah, it's been uncharacteristically warm, as you would say. I mean, because I'm from Phoenix, obviously, it's 60s, 70s, 80s around this time anyway. So, but yeah, it's been warm, so it's good.
That's good. I tell you what, if somebody hasn't been to Annapolis, what is your description of Annapolis right now? Like, what do you think? I mean, you probably haven't been out much, but
yeah, it's hard to say because I'm not an East Coast guy. This is the first time I lived on the East Coast, but there's water, so it's a bit different than where I'm from in Phoenix. But it's definitely nice. It's definitely old. Like, most of the buildings and stuff are much older than stuff that I see in Phoenix. But no, it's a nice place. I mean, it has some cool history. The Naval Academy is on right up the street from where I'm living, so a lot of cool stuff going on in Annapolis. Obviously, it's like 30 minutes from DC and about 30-40 minutes from Baltimore. So still in a big city area, which is cool as well. I haven't been over there just because I just recently moved in the last 2 weeks and in the middle of this whole, coronavirus pandemic. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's I would say once you can get out and about, and you're going to get some good seafood. A little bit different probably than Phoenix, but it's definitely, I mean, Annapolis is a beautiful place. Definitely historic. It's a great representation of it. So how is training going right now? I mean, are you able to do some things there in Annapolis, or is it?
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of getting by, just like pretty much every other athlete in the world right now. Just hopping fences to get onto tracks and finding turf fields and working out in the street and all that stuff. So, but I mean, other than that, kind of we're in a weird limbo because we don't know if there's going to be a season,
right?
And we're hoping there's going to be one, so we're preparing like there is going to be one, but we don't have to kind of hammer it as hard as we would be training, April. If I'm opening up a Drake relays in 2 weeks, what I'm saying. So, kind of taking a little bit easier, working some more technical stuff. Working on just speed in general, being fast and explosive and stuff like that, and lifting and. So yeah.
What's a creative exercise or something that you've done so far that's definitely outside the norm of the Devon Allen training that's very quarantine based? Is there anything?
I mean, well, luckily, so we have some weights in the basement of my coach's house, so I was able to. I'm at least able to lift, but I guess for the first, right now we don't really have hurdles.
Right.
We had these little plastic ones that only go up to 36 inches. So
okay.
Yeah, I would say anything to do with that, and they kind of lean back. They're I wouldn't consider them really hurdles. So, but yeah, I mean I guess we don't have to get too creative. Being a hurdler is like being a sprinter, so it's not like I need a pole vault pit or high jump, but just being kind of willing to kind of adapt and change and stuff like that is kind of what I have to do. Yeah.
Sure. Oh no, I mean everybody's kind of adapting and changing. And you talk about being a hurdler. what was I mean, people that don't kind of know your story or kind of know a bunch about it. You go back to 2014 and kind of NCAA championships, US champs, and everything. I mean, what was it like? Because you played football. You had an opportunity to play football and did really well. Got banged up a little bit, but doing two sports in college, what was that like at a super high level?
Yeah, it's just busy. Especially during the football. It's kind of funny to say this, but during the football season, I was the least busy. Right, like we had practice. We had meetings. So I had treatment at 6 a.m. We have meetings at 7:30, and then we have practice at 9, and then 9 to 11ish, and then we go to class at noon to 4, and then we have meetings again at night at 4:45, 5 o'clock till 6:30. And then we eat dinner and go home and go to bed, and that's my days were so structured that I didn't feel as busy. I just woke up, football, class, meetings, to bed. The whole 4 months of the season. But then during track season is when it gets hectic because we have football lifting in the winter, so early in the morning, between 8 to 10 or 11 or whatever. And then after that I would head over to either class, which would be 10 o'clock to 12, and then I would go train from 12 to 2 or 2:30 or 3, and then I have class again at 4 o'clock, and 4 to 6, and then eat dinner and go to bed. And then during spring ball is even worse, where we have full practices, so then I'm pretty much jam-packed from 6 a.m. to noon. And I got to find a way to train for track and get class in. Usually my class schedule is the lightest during the spring. I got some leeway to take 12 credits, or take online class or something like that during the springs, especially during the Olympic year when I was super busy. But yeah, I mean that's the way I characterize it as. It's just busy. I mean, obviously the athletic standpoint and being physically prepared and competing at a high level in both sports takes a lot physically, but as long as you manage that pretty well, you can do it, I think. And then the time aspect, we had a ton of people, the academic advisors, the athletic trainers, the coaches and stuff were super, lenient with me, especially. They just were like, hey, we got a big meet coming up. Sorry, I'm not going to be at practice, starting Wednesday.
Right.
Pac-12 champs are coming up, so I'm not doing spring ball or, something like that. So.
That's awesome that they're accommodating. It's a very unique situation. Obviously, there's not many people that do two sports in college at that level. I did two sports in college, but not at the level that you were at. I did football and track as well, but it's clearly a different beast. So now you shift, and there's no football. It's just track. Was there anything major that changed for you, or just just a little less busy?
Yeah, I think, definitely less busy. I think the big thing is just trying to figure out what works for me as an athlete. Mm-hmm. And I think we're kind of starting to get to that point to where, I think the football thing, me playing football helped, me stay obviously with the 2 ACL injuries that were non-contact, that's just bad luck, but overall stay fit and healthy in the off season and continue to build strength and continue to do, as a receiver, you're doing explosive repetitions every, 20 seconds, right? So we're, 20-yard sprint, 20-yard sprint, 20-yard sprint. So I think that stuff, maybe it's not as to the highest quality of being a sprinter, but still doing those reps. And so by the time I get to the season, I'm in some kind of shape, and then I'm in some kind of I'm used to sprinting. So that's what I think I my first couple of years as just a track athlete, I was this is kind of weird. I feel like I should have more time. I should be running better and faster, but I just don't quite feel as good, which is weird because I'm not doing as much. So we've kind of, the last I would say 8 months have just slowly been adding, just different stuff to kind of keep me occupied, I would say. Right, whether that be just running around playing football, or catching the ball, or playing tennis or basketball or something, doing something athletic other than track, to kind of keep my body, you know, my hips mobile and you know, everything going, my ankles mobile and stuff like that. Because when you just run straight all the time, you kind of get locked up. And so with, you know, being a hurdler, that's like, you know, the big thing is, you know, mobility and flexibility and stuff. So I feel like I kind of lost a little bit of that just by not playing football.
Right.
So, but we figured it out. I mean, you know, it's, you know, you got to kind of go with the flow. And as a pro, you don't know everything that works. You don't know everything that doesn't work. So you kind of got to just, you know, pick and choose. And luckily my first year pro, or my second year pro, was an off year. And then last year, you know, banged up with injuries, but I still was fortunate enough to make the world team and make the world championship final. So now, you know, and this year especially, we got, you know, luckily it works in my favor to have another year of training and figuring it out.
What kind of went through your mind when they said, hey, you know, Olympics postponed to 2021? Was it kind of like you said, a kind of relief inside to say, hey, you know, I got more time to prepare, or was it kind of like a shock?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a shock because in my head, and every athlete's preparing for it to be this year, and that's the plan and that's the goal. But once it did finally get postponed, I was like kind of reflecting, like, man, maybe this is a good thing because, you know, I just been, you know, I had a little bit of Achilles thing all of 2019, and that kind of flared back up on me in the indoor season. So I didn't do I only did the one indoor meet, and then it started flaring up on me again. So I shut the indoor season down, and then didn't really start training again until probably March, anyways. Right. So like, you know,
it's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing for me. I mean, obviously not for everybody, and you know, I've talked to many of athletes, you know, which you know is frustrating that they have to, you know, either postpone and planning and, you know, have to move somewhere, or, you know, just, you know, it throws a wrench into everybody's plans. But for me, I think it's a good thing.
That's good. So I mean, what are you doing to kind of keep occupied? Obviously, you know, you said playing tennis, doing some other things.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you got addicted to, you know, like binge watching shows, or you're a gamer, or
I
mean,
mean,
what's that side note? You're a gamer?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly that. I mean, you know, I got my Xbox on right here, right behind the phone. I was just playing Forza. It's like a racing game. But yeah, I mean, I game. You know, I was always a gamer. Anyway, so I just do it more. You know, we're stuck inside. There's not really much to do.
Right.
Like the only thing you can do is go to the grocery store, and you can only do that like so many times a week. Right.
Did you find yourself just going to the grocery store to get something, you know, get a product, or is it you kind of making sure you're staying off?
Well, yeah. Actually, so since I just moved into this place, yeah, just because I'm like, oh shoot, I don't have any like salt and pepper, like you know, and that's like an important thing, and
Sure.
you know, I don't have any seasoning, or I don't have a can opener. For one of the days I was making like a bean burrito, I didn't have a can opener, so I got like, you know, my chef's knife, and I was like trying to poke it. And so like I gotta go to the store.
That's awesome. But
yeah,
when you move, you do forget. You know, you forget things, and you don't have any of that stuff. We got somebody that's alive in Japan right now watching. That's
amazing.
Say if on right now with Just the Cup, world's greatest team, with Devon Allen. If you have any questions for Devon, put them in the comment section below, and we'll get to them here in a second. So. Yeah, CC Clark, big gamer. You know, I like
that's one of my boys. Yeah. I saw my dad on here too. My dad's logged in.
That's good. That's get some love on that. So what's so making the move to Annapolis from Oregon, you know, back down to Phoenix, to hometown, to Annapolis. What's you know, the weather wise? Are you a hot weather guy? Or does it really matter? Because obviously Eugene's not a hot place.
Yeah. I think it doesn't really matter for me. Obviously I prefer a little bit warmer weather, but so far it hasn't been that cold. It hasn't gone below